YouTube land. In an effort to stay relatively entertained and not turn into blobby shades of flesh, we're doing a project. I have day 1, day 2 workout. I'm using a TRX suspension trainer and a kettlebell. If you don't have that, let me know and I'll figure something else out for you. But the next 2 videos that my husband, Phil Poirier behind the camera, and I are gonna do is just a 2-day split, just trying to keep everything active. I'm working on strength. You can work on whatever you need to. Join me. First 2 exercises up, TRX atomic push-up and a kettlebell hinge. I'm gonna show them to you back to back. Your job is to do 3 sets alternating each exercise. Here we go, TRX atomic push-up. You look like a pro if you use the dirty socks, drop them onto your feet and roll over like you're a kid. Making sure everything is balanced at the back, you haven't unleveled your feet. We're gonna flex the ankles so that your heels push back into those foot cradles. Get those hands nice and wide, spread them out. Find your super active plank all the way to the toes. We're gonna bend the elbows for the push-up, push back up, tuck the knees, replace plank. Bend your elbows, push back up, tuck, replace. You could add the pike if you're feeling jammy. You could speed it up and make it one motion if you're feeling jammy. We're aiming for 10 or 12 of those. Then we're gonna come out, find your weight, whatever that means. I'm gonna show you from this side so that you can see that the movement is coming from my hip, not my spine. Open up those shoulders, try to pull the weight apart, hinge back, stand up nice and tall all the way up. So we're lengthening out the glutes and hamstrings and then coming right back up, keeping your spine long. We're not gonna hinge over. Hinge hip, neutral spine. Have fun with that. Sequence number 2. I may have lied, you might need a mini band. Not necessary. TRX fly. We're looking for mid-calf length on your TRX, facing away from the anchor point. Grab onto those handles again, make sure they're balanced. I like to bounce around and make sure that I'm centered on my anchor point. Choosing a vector that makes you happy that you can control and a base of support that makes you happy that you can control. Maintaining a perfect plank all the way through. We're gonna pull those shoulder blades together in the back to allow you to come into a fly and then push straight back up. So we're opening up the chest and then drawing you back in. Pulling the shoulder blades together, keeping the chest open when you come back to your high plank position. From there, we're going to be doing a glute bridge banded. Again, you don't need the band to make this effective. We're gonna take the feet hip distance apart, open up the shoulders, no squishy parts in your torso, pressing up into a bridge. I'm gonna draw those knees apart just a little bit, bring them back to neutral, barely tap my butt back to the floor, pull it back up, knees go wide, and come back. You can play on the TRX to do this as well, but you don't have to. Okay, sequence number 3. This is my nemesis. I call it a body saw prep. I think the TRX people have a better name for it. However, again, the dirty socks method to get yourself into a prone plank position on the TRX. Our ultimate goal is to go from high plank to low plank without having to reset and do all the jankiness that happens. So my preparatory work is working through the negatives. I'm gonna find myself in that strong high plank position. Abdominals are super engaged. As slowly as I can, I'm gonna keep the elbows tucked into my sides to lower me down into that low plank position. I'm gonna come back up in any way that I can, replacing my plank, slowly lowering back down and replacing. Good luck with that. Second exercise is the TRX hamstring runner combined with a slow jack. I like it, have fun with it. Again, you're laying on the floor facing your anchor point. You're finding your heels in the foot cradles so that the bottoms of your feet can press against the handles. We're gonna start with big long legs, shoulders suction cupped, abdominals firm, press up so your bottom is elevated away from the floor and now you're in a neutral plank. We're gonna bend one leg, pulling it as tight to your bottom as you can get it, still pushing down on the opposite leg. So both heels pressing into those foot cradles as equally as you can get them. So we're gonna do one hamstring runner. Straighten those legs out, make sure your bottom is elevated. One slow wide jack, bring it back in. Start with the opposing leg first for the hamstring runner. Nice and slow. One slow jack. Hold it out there for a brief second. You can see my trainer bouncing. The shake of truth, I think the TRX folks call that. And we're wide and back. My risk manager husband hates this one, but I'm going to show you two different versions. I like the throw and catch version, but you have to be confident you're actually going to catch the thing you're throwing. So I have my kettlebell. I'm going to lay back, finding as close to a neutral spine as I can, opening up my shoulders and drawing this weight up over my head. I'm not going to talk through it because it freaks me out a little bit, I won't lie. Reset every time your hands get a little bit jarbled. I like to do about 15. The other version is to remain as neutral as possible and just move up nice and slow. You can add a bit of core stability in there if that makes you happy. But ultimately, it is a chest press. Exercise number 2 in that sequence. We're facing our anchor point, lying back as close to neutral spine as you can get. Shoulders suction cup to the mat. Breathe at some point. Knees stay bent, ankles stay flexed. It gets a bit tricky without shoes. So you're gonna press up and just come right back down. So similar to the bounded bridges we did earlier, but way more intense, trying to hang on to your unstable surface. Fun? Okay, gang, last set. We're finding ourselves in a side plank situation on the TRX. That elbow is going to go directly underneath the shoulder. Dial that shoulder right into your torso. Press some weight into the pinky. The legs, you want to make sure the top leg, the back leg, is driven into the heel of the bottom front leg. And the legs are as active and strong as you can get them. We're going to play a little bit. So we're going to come up into side plank, anchoring top shoulder over bottom shoulder, top hip over bottom hip. And you're gonna hang out. And if you can hang out stable for about 10 seconds, you've earned the permission to play a little bit. Maybe we tuck, maybe we go to a rainbow shape and a banana shape, always maintaining shoulder integrity. Have fun. From there, you're gonna do the other side. Try to do intervals of about 10 seconds, taking a couple of second breather in between each. But your second exercise in that sequence is to grab whatever it is that you have that's heavy, chase that standing plank, opening up the shoulders, drawing the bottom rib down. As best you can, try not to use your fingers. We're gonna lift the weight straight up in front and come right back down, opening the chest as you allow the weight to come down. The arms are as straight as you can get them. Mine don't look very straight. And all the way back down. We're aiming for roughly 10 to 12 repetitions of everything you just did. Exercise A, exercise B, 3 times over for a total of 6 exercises before you take a breather and move on to the next sequence. Let me know how it goes.